This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. My name is Tom Alexander, and joining me today, it is the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience for the Togo Group. It's Stephen Hileman. Hi, Stephen. How are you?
I'm doing great today, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for taking time out to join us. It's very interesting. You guys do a lot of different things. And first of all, let's start out by asking, how long has Togo been around?
So the Togo Group has been around for just about 2 years. Mm-hmm. It was created as a technology joint venture between a company in New Zealand called THL, which is the world's largest RV rental operator globally, and a company most of us know in the U.S. called Thor Industries, which is, of course, the world's largest RV manufacturer. So we're an independent private technology company based out of Cincinnati, Ohio.
How has the company sort of progressed since the early days? I know you guys you provide a lot of information servicing to customers and GPS and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so as a tech company, a lot of times we have a habit of talking over people's heads from an engineering perspective.
Right.
However, the two pieces that most RVers are going to recognize us for are our two consumer apps, the Togo RV app, which is a digital platform for RVers that sort of helps enable some trip planning as well as some maintenance and service related tasks for the RV. But our other big consumer RV brand is Roadtrippers. Roadtrippers, very well-known trip planning tool, great app, it's a great web tool for planning trips and finding really unique places to go. So those are the two big consumer brands we operate that RVers are going to be familiar with. But in the background, we do a lot of stuff that helps enable that RV ecosystem. So we have a business called Togo Fleet and Togo Insights, and those help run the booking and information platforms behind some RV rental companies. So we're able to sort of manage large fleets of vehicles and help rental firms actually handle their bookings and schedulings and those type of things. So there's a lot that sits behind the scenes from a technical perspective, a fair amount of sort of B2B activity.
Yeah.
But Togo RV and Roadtrippers are the two things that people recognize us for.
It seems that the technology, as you said, sometimes it can fly over the head, including me, of the average RVer. The language it's a whole language of your own. But I think the results are very intuitive. People get them. They can relate to them really quickly and benefit from them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's things that sometimes we take for granted because a lot of us are really used to apps that, tell us where to go. There's navigation, there's, searching for, a rest stop or a coffee shop or, a Walmart parking lot. Mm-hmm. We take that for granted sometimes because there's so much technology at our fingertips. But we do things, with our Roadtrippers brand that really adds, some unique value for RVers. We have a program we call Extraordinary Places Today, but what it does is it helps consumers who plan trips on Roadtrippers know the difference between, yes, we all want to go, visit an extraordinary place like the Grand Canyon or Crater Lake National Park, but what about the really extraordinary places that aren't at the top of everyone's list, like the Jolly Green Giant statue, or the Thorn Crown Chapel, or the Peachoid in Georgia, right? Like there are these really sort of obscure places that tend to be the ones that create the most unique memories for us, and those are important to us. We like to say that we're sometimes the anti-GPS. We tend to make your trip a little bit longer, but we also help make a lot more memories along the way.
Yeah. I'm reminded of when you talk about sort of obscure places, It's not there anymore, but back in the early 2000s, there was a sort of a phenomenon, and it was called the Mojave Desert Phone Booth. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but it sort of started out as a phone booth that was there for workers who could maintain relationship with the outside world, because it was literally in the middle of the Mojave Desert in California. And they left the phone booth there, and they left it active. And suddenly what happened was this sort of, phenomenon occurred where all these people started to go to the phone booth, and people from all over the world would call it. And it was sort of almost like a chat room before chat rooms were really, it was one of those things that just people could talk to strangers, and it became a destination. People would just drive out in the middle of the desert and find this phone booth that was way off road. And those kinds of things are, to me, very, very fascinating, because they almost have like a cultural significance. There's an almost subculture to these little off the beaten path places to go. You've probably seen that yourself.
Yeah. Our Road Trippers team, we have a whole team that works on not just finding these places, but writing stories about them and enabling people to really plan their road trips or their RV trips around these types of things.
Yeah.
Actually, I just shared on my LinkedIn yesterday this really interesting county campground. It's a county park with a campground in the sort of Southern California desert. And it's primitive, $3 a day for camping. And it's got this really quirky history of being haunted. It's in a low-lying part of the desert, so it's a little cooler than some of the popular places out there. It's a really great story about how it became a campground, how this story of it being haunted came into place. But those are the types of stories we love to tell from the Road Trippers team that help make Road Trippers just a really great tool, not just for RVers, but for anybody, taking a road trip.
We're speaking with the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience from the Togo Group. It's Stephen Hileman. Stephen, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back right after these words.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast.
RV owners, it's no secret that those manufacturers' warranties just don't cut it. Get the peace of mind you deserve and step up to the RV Advisor Extended RV Warranty Plan. No covered claim is ever denied, with low to no deductibles. To learn more, visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911. That's 833-229-0911. We're back on the RV Advisor Podcast. Our guest is Stephen Hileman. He is the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience for the Togo Group. And Stephen, tell us a little bit about your background and then how you got to Togo.
Yeah, so I spent most of my career in the RV industry. I took a job as an event planner for a company in Riverside, California, out of college. Turns out it was the old Fleetwood Enterprises. And that led me into a long career in RVs on the manufacturer side, and eventually working for a couple of brands that are now known under the Rev Group umbrella. And then I went to work for Airstream for a few years. Really, really enjoyed the time working for Airstream. Great brands, great history, great stories there.
Yeah.
And then at Airstream, started to work on the smart trailer sort of IoT remote vehicle control platform at Airstream as a little bit of a side project. And that led me into this technology realm that I'm in today at the Togo Group. We still work with Airstream quite closely on a couple of projects, and I still live in Airstream's backyard. But that's led me to where I'm at today with the Togo Group. Always been on the marketing side in the RV industry. We love camping. My family enjoys camping. We don't currently own an RV, but we're shopping again. So
okay.
hopefully by next summer we'll be back into it on a day-to-day basis again. But my kids are young, and school takes a lot of time, and they're in 1,000 activities like they all are at this age.
So then it's safe to say that the Hilemans will be back on the road sometime, for a little bit of adventures.
Yeah, that's in the plans for sure, to get back on the road for some RVing. We still RV occasionally. We rented an RV and headed to Nashville with some work friends recently, but it's in our blood. We enjoy traveling. We enjoy traveling for sure. It's what we do now.
Yeah, our media team just spent some time at the Tampa Super Show, and it was a lot of fun seeing all kinds of great RVs from all different manufacturers. But Airstream just has a certain cultural significance. I think it's such a pop culture brand, and with the classic sort of silver chrome kind of shiny look that's really unto itself. And you see those and it's like, man, that just takes you back to like Route 66, Eat at Joe's, whatever it is, that thing from the 40s, 50s, 60s that just really looks like true Americana. It is really a brand unto itself, isn't it?
It very much is. I'm very excited for Airstream because they're building a new facility here in Ohio, and attached to that facility will be a history museum and interesting center where they've got some of their historic vehicles on display and are able to sort of in person tell the history of that brand. The brand just has a really incredible history. The story of Wally Byam, how he came to create the brand, the struggles he went through, how Airstream survived the ups and downs. It's just a really epic story.
Yeah.
If it's another one of those great places to visit. They do factory tours every day, every afternoon. If you've not been through an Airstream factory tour, it is amazing. And it's definitely one of those places you have to visit if you're in Western Ohio or traveling through the area.
Right, very much associated with the Midwest. There's a very famous jazz rock group from the past called the Pat Metheny Group, and their second album was an album called American Garage, and right on the front of the right dead center in the cover is an Airstream. And I think of that and it's like, wow, yeah, that really is Americana. It's cool to see those in person and go on board and just see all the detail, and it's great that you have such a great history with them as well.
Yeah, Airstream is part of what created a lot of inspiration for me to kind of inject some more interesting consumer experiences into the RV industry. Mm-hmm. It's part of what I'm challenged with every day is how do we take an app for RVers like Togo RV and inject the ability for people to find extraordinary places and to have a little bit more confidence and freedom to create their own memories. And that's Airstream's a great inspiration for that type of customer experience.
Yeah. Our guest is Stephen Hileman. He's the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience at Togo Group. And I know Togo Group is, developing a sort of an online or, an online magazine, an RV magazine. So people can go and just get firsthand accounts of not only information, but tours, trips, the latest and greatest in technology and everything else, right?
Yeah, so one of the new features in the Togo RV app, it's only going to be available in the app right now, but it is essentially a content feed that allows consumers to see some new stories. We've written some stories that were written by the Roadtrippers team.
Yes.
That are specifically about locations, but also about trips. We've got some great content on Route 66 and dozens of different ways that you can do the sort of Route 66 trip in an RV that you can customize to your own liking. But the Togo RV app kind of puts an RV filter over all of that so that it's specific to that RVer community, and that we're filtering out things like hotels that you are hard to filter out, when you're using Google Maps or Apple Maps. We're only showing you campgrounds. We're only showing you RV service centers. We're really making it RV specific to try to enable the RVer to have a little more joy in their RV trips and a little less friction around, the things that a lot of apps sort of fail to tackle or ignore, like service and maintenance and, taking care of your vehicle. I mean, so many people sort of overlook that and stick solely to the fun stuff, like getting on the road. I mean, we love Instagram, but it's also very full of pictures that don't truly represent how hard it is, how much work it is to be on the road in an RV. RV trips are not easy. They're very rewarding, though. So we are doing our best to provide an app experience in Togo RV that takes some of that friction and simplifies it so that you can spend more time making memories and having fun with your family on your RV trip.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's really what it is all about. And we want to thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to chat with us. If people want to learn more about everything that Togo does, what's the best portal for that?
Yeah, you can see all of what Togo Group does at togogroup.io, or you can visit Roadtrippers at roadtrippers.com or Togo RV at runswithtogo.com.
Well, Stephen, we really do appreciate your time today. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Stephen Hileman is the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience at the Togo Group. He spoke to us today from West Central, Ohio. My name's Tom Alexander. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to the RV Advisor Podcast with Tom Alexander. This podcast is produced in association with Studio Alpha and Alexander Productions in Miami. Visit thervadvisor.com for more.